Hey everyone, welcome back to Houston Life. A new wake-up call for women and money. A recent study shows most women expect to handle their finances, but far fewer feel confident in doing so.
Entrepreneur Chantell Preston is here with more on why financial literacy could be the key to freedom, and also with more on her upcoming new book, The Success Lie. I'm very intrigued by that title. Okay, so let's just be clear here. So more women are expecting that they're the ones in charge of their money, but they don't quite feel confident doing that. That's concerning.
It is concerning because we weren't raised in a time where let's teach you good acumen around money. It's basically like, don't worry, somebody will take care of you. So you get to a certain point in your life and I don't even know what questions to ask or what different asset classes there are. So it's important for women to learn just basic financial literacy so they feel confident to be able to ask questions and handle
Can
those
I also
things.
just jump in and remind everyone that it wasn't until like the 60s and 70s when women started getting their own bank accounts and credit cards because it was forbidden by law. A woman couldn't get an account unless they had a male co-signer. So basically, we've spent decades trying to catch up and we're still not there, right?
Right, and you talk to a lot of my friends and they are just intimidated by it because they've never had to deal with it. They either give it to their spouse or their broker. They don't even know what questions to ask, where their money is. And so it's time for us to take a position that we need to educate ourselves so we feel more confident. And the more we're able to build our own wealth, the more freedom that we have.
Education is so important because managing money is one thing, and that's one, mountain to climb. But building wealth, something also many people have a goal to do, those two aren't the same. Can you kind of differentiate?
Absolutely. You think about savings. We all talk about savings, but saving is really survival. How do we pay our bills?
Yeah.
And you have to really have a great foundation for savings first before you can even start that wealth building scenario. But I look at it as wealth building is really building freedom, confidence, the things that we want to, but you have to make sure your house is in order over here on this side before you get to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it also seems like for generations, women have sort of like felt lucky, right? Like, oh, I'm lucky to get a promotion or to be in around the conference room table. This is a mindset that maybe if we didn't grow up with, our parents certainly did. Our moms probably did.
Well, you're pointing at me because I could be your mother. I
No.
know that. But in my generation, you're absolutely correct. And if you look at, we were never taught how to negotiate or how to advocate for ourselves. So now we're in a position where men, they negotiate 4 times as much as women do when it comes to contract negotiations or salaries. So how do we teach them to advocate and show that they understand what their value is and they're willing to stand up for themselves? I'll just give you a quick example. I had a great friend of mine, very high-powered individual. She went to negotiate her salary for a new job. She never countered. And I said, well, what are you doing? Why not? She goes, well, I thought it was fair. It wasn't fair. It was what they were willing. They were waiting for her to push back. But we just don't have that inside of us, a lot of us, to push back because, again, that mindset of we're just happy to be here.
So what tips do you give women to say, no, you need to not only negotiate and counter, but you need to ask for your worth and then maybe add some tax too? How do you instill those things? What pointers are you giving?
I always tell people, before you sit down, really think about what are your non-negotiables? What do I need to have? Also, do your research. Understand what's market. What is compensation for the job that you're applying for that you want? Know those things walking in, but also go through the emotions of what if they say no? What am I willing to give? So then when you're in there, you're negotiating on the facts, not on emotion. And that gives you the upper hand of saying, I understand what my value is and I'm going to advocate for myself. And frankly, at the end of the day, if you can't come to a happy medium, maybe that's not the place for you to be.
Wow. And see, it's so empowering to hear you say this. At the same time, though, what about a woman out there who's saying, hey, I need this job. I need to pay my bills. I don't know if I can play hardball.
Absolutely. And you have to look at, everybody has to look at their own situation. But then if you're in a job, maybe there's always talk to people, network to see maybe is there something else out there? Or is there a side job that maybe brings you more passion that you might want to look at to increase your revenue in a different way other than just the job? And you're right, Derek, there's a lot of people out there that they just need a job and pay the bills. So again, you have to get your house in order first before you start looking at certain things.
I also find for women, time is such a valuable concept as well, because women are not just wearing the corporate hat. They're wearing the mom hat, the sister hat, the wife. So also negotiating things like time off. We've talked about that, little things that are going to make your life easier. clear.
Well, those are your non-negotiables. It's not just always about income. It could be about freedom. It could be about, timing of when I come into work versus when I leave for work, understanding that these are the important things for me. I think for so long we forget that it's okay to ask for things. I've lived my life as sometimes it's easier to ask for forgiveness and permission, but it's also, you don't get things in life because you don't ask, right? So this is important to me. And as an employer, I want to understand, how can I set that person up in an environment where they're going to be the most successful? So if you come and say, it's important for me to go to my kids' game, so I'm going to need to leave here by 5 on Thursday, I'm going to say, that's great, please do that. Because I know you're going to come back happier and happier to be there and be more productive at the end of the day.
And more appreciative, totally.
Exactly.
Okay, well, we want to talk about this new book, okay? The Success Lie. I'm so thankful we have more time with you, Chantell Preston, Houston Life. We'll be right back.
It's such a great book title.
Okay, we're back with Chantell Preston. It's Women's History Month, and we're continuing the conversation about confidence, building real wealth, and Chantell, your upcoming book, The Success Lie. Now, The Success Lie is a book that talks about lies we're told growing up, especially as women. Get into that.
So it is. It's around my life and my experiences and all the lies I was told that I thought I had to be, both my personal and professional. And really getting to a certain point in my life going, wait, who made up these rules? I didn't make up these rules. And in my world, when I was a kid, success all revolved around money and title. And then when I got there, I thought, this is it, I have it all, and my life crumbled. And so it's about, how do we reframe the things that we were taught into who we want and make the rules ourselves so that fits us. Yeah. And so that's what it's about.
You have described yourself, Chantell, as a serial entrepreneur. You've tried a lot of different things. You've done very well over the course of your career. Is it fair to say you wrote this book because you want other young women growing up to not go down the path you went, or not have the stresses that you had?
So I think it's more around, I want women to understand, whether they're younger women or women my age, that they're not alone. We're all struggling, right, to try to juggle all the balls in the air. And I think we try to bring up this we're perfect, and everybody's gonna look at me and say, your life's great, come home with me, right? I mean, we all are struggling with trying to balance things. So how do we really build a life around the way we wanna live? And reframing those lies of, you can have it all. No, you can't, not at the same time. What season are you in? What's important now? It's giving women permission to be okay with where they are and not be alone.
You say there are 9 lies shaping people's definition of success. You went through some of them, but what are they?
So you've got, you can have it all. It's,
okay.
You have to say yes to everything. Don't be emotional as a female. Don't worry, somebody will take care of you financially. Hence goes into the financial literacy. So things such as that we were told as kids, be nice to everyone. Those are the things. And also, it's too late to start over. Look, I'm in my 50s, we all know that now. I've done things in the last 2 years that have nothing to do with the career I built or the reputation over the last 3 decades.
I mean, so the lie, be nice to everyone, why is that a lie? You shouldn't be nice to everyone?
Well, it's not about being nice to everyone, but don't do it at the sacrifice of your own sanity.
Don't be a pushover.
That's right. Stand up for yourself. Advocate for yourself. We talked about women in negotiations. Why am I not advocating for myself? Be who you are and stand up. You don't have to be nice to everyone all the time.
I love that. I really love that. And I think one of the challenges for so many people is that these phrases, oh, you can have it all. Oh, well, you can do that. Oh, don't worry. I mean, it comes up in conversation casually at work, socially, with family members, maybe a very well-intentioned relative saying, oh, Chantell, you can have it all. How do you navigate the weird, social environment where everyone is giving you unsolicited advice?
Well, first of all, I don't listen to people that I don't respect their opinion to begin with. But with that being said,
you changed the subject.
Well, no, but with my children, I don't want them to feel like they've always have to be perfect, right? Because if I'm saying you can have it all, I'm setting a standard of perfection, and we all know perfection doesn't exist. So I would handle it as, hey, look, I may not be perfect at everything, but right now, this is where my focus is because of X. And right now, my focus is my daughter. She's got 3.5 years left before she goes to college, so that's where my focus is. 10 years ago, it was all around my career. So again, where are you in the time and place in your life?
Chantell, you talk about self-trust over external validation. I think when we're younger, especially as women, you're thinking, oh, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, and you're kind of just not steadfast in your decisions. How have you sharpened that inner voice? How have you managed to get that to work for you and in your advantage, throughout your life?
I think it's also I think it's becoming confident. Even if I make the wrong decision, I know that it's a decision I am making, right? And so it's like when people ask me things, and this is a lot where women say yes to a lot of, we carry a lot of responsibilities that aren't necessarily ours because we're told, oh, don't worry, take care of everybody around us. I think it's really being secure and figuring out what are your boundaries and establishing those boundaries and really living by those boundaries for who you are and what you want to achieve.
Totally.
The book, by the way, The Success Lie, is available for pre-order. We're out of time. I want to read essentially the headline. Grounded, honest, deeply relatable, The Success Lie is a call to stop chasing someone else's version of an extraordinary life and start building yours. Chantell
Amen,
Preston, that is
sister.
so powerful.
Amen.
We cannot wait to read the book.
Thank you, guys.
When does it drop? What's the date?
July 28th.
And you can pre-order it.
We can pre-order it now, yes.
Right around the corner. Okay, Chantell Preston, thank you again. To connect with Chantell and get your pre-order, look for the Scene on Houston Life section of our website, HoustonLife.tv. I wish we had a book like this like 40 years ago.
Totally. You only get one life. Like, why not make it exactly
It's
what
about
you want?
time you wrote this book.